This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
The following episode of Charlotte Cooks is brought to you by Central Piedmont Community College and viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi there, and welcome to this episode of Charlotte Cooks. Today, guys, we're going to be stepping on some sacred ground. We are going to be talking about ribs, and we're going to show you an easy way to make a nice rub, to make a nice sauce. We're going to do the ribs. I'm going to give you some pointers on how to make the best ribs you've ever had. But first, let's take a look at our ribs to understand the difference between the different ribs that you're going to find in the market. So here we have beef ribs. Beef ribs are those big, juicy bones, big ones, yummy, yummy. One of the things you want to look for on a rib is that they have lots of nice meat on them. You want to turn them over and look at both sides of the rib, okay? One of the things you're looking for, are there any bones exposed on any of these ribs? Now see, like right here, you've got a little bit of a bone exposed. If there was more of that bone exposed, this is what we would call a shiner. And it actually is something you should leave in the store because the butcher has trimmed it just a little bit too close, okay? But if you see the bones sticking out through the ribs before you buy them, just leave them in the store because you can find some that have more meat on them. The other thing you want to look for is you want to make sure your ribs are fresh. Your fresh ribs are going to taste and behave and cook a whole lot better than any rib that has been previously frozen, okay? Now over here we have pork ribs, and here we have a baby back rib, and here we have a St. Louis rib. These actually come from the same cut. This is one whole rib altogether, and basically they split it down the center and give the pieces like this that have a little bit less meat on them for the baby backs, and these, which are the St. Louis ribs, have more meat on them. The St. Louis are actually my favorite. I love the St. Louis ribs. The St. Louis rib will have a little bit more of, you can see it here, a little bit more of this meat flap that comes here along the side, okay? So one of the things that we have to do to make ribs tender, a couple of mistakes people do, is they forget to take the membrane off the back of the rib. And another thing they forget to do is to pre-cook the rib. Now you could take this whole rib and put it on a grill and cook it completely on the grill. It won't take you very long to process that, but your ribs aren't going to be super flavorful and they're not going to be really tender if you do it that way. One of the secrets to making a really nice rib is to remove this membrane on the back, and I'm going to show you how we're doing that in just one second. Pre-cook them. You can pre-cook them by boiling. You can pre-cook them in the oven, which is what we're going to do today, or you can even put them in a slow cooker and pre-cook them that way. And then take them out and put them on the grill, and I'll show you the grilling tips when we get down to the grill in just a little bit. So how are we going to remove this membrane? What you're going to need is a dinner knife. And let me show you how that's done. You're going to take your dinner knife and you get this membrane. You're going to stick this under here a little bit just to loosen that membrane up. Just to loosen it. Sometimes this membrane is hard to pull off, and if it is, you see here it comes, grab a towel, because it's going to be a little slippery to pull it. Okay, get this membrane, see, there you go. See that membrane? Pull that right off, because if you leave this on your ribs, if you leave this on your ribs, it's going to be very tough. It's going to be like eating dental floss. Take that off, all right? So once you remove that from your ribs, we are going to proceed with making a dry rub. Let me show you that one more time. We're going to loosen this membrane up with a dinner knife. And once you get this membrane good and loose, grab a towel so you can grab onto it good and just peel this right off. Okay? Voila. Now that we've got our membrane removed and we're all ready to rock and roll on these, our dry rub is going to consist of several different things. We've got herbs and spices here. we're going to use a spice grinder. You can use a coffee grinder if you have a coffee grinder, that's fine, but don't use it for coffee and spices. Get one designated for coffee, one designated for spices. So in here we are going to put celery seed. The recipe, we have the recipe on our website, so I'm not going to tell you the amounts right here, but we have celery seed, we have cumin seed, we have coriander seed, and we have yellow mustard seeds. Now mustard seeds come in different colors. You can use brown mustard seed, black mustard seed, or yellow mustard seed. There really is no difference in flavor, but we've got yellow mustard seed. We're just going to put them right in there. Now the rest of our herbs and spices that we're using here are already ground up, and since these are the whole seeds, we need to grind these before we combine them with the other ingredients, okay? So let's go over to the grinder and get these ground up. Takes a couple seconds. Grind it up. And now we're going to combine it with everything else. We're going to put all these delicious smelling seeds in here. We're going to add granulated onion. We're going to add granulated garlic. We're going to add some dried oregano. We're going to add some paprika, some black pepper. We're going to add a little bit of salt. I'm going to add just a tablespoon of salt to this. And in addition to all of this, we've got chili powder, we've got brown sugar. We mix it all up and it looks like this when it's all mixed up, okay? And so, because it has all of these wonderful chili hot spices in there, and the sugars and the garlic and everything, you need to wear some kind of hand protection when you rub your ribs down. So I'm going to throw on a little pair of gloves. If you didn't have gloves at home, just put your hands inside a couple of plastic bags. Do you have to? No, but you know what? You're going to wear this stuff for a while if you don't, because the chili powder will kind of turn your fingers a little bit pink, red, whatever. So we're going to take this dry rub and we're going to sprinkle it. And you want to make sure that you rub it in. And you want to make sure that you get into any of these little cracks and crevices that are on the rib and give it a really good massage. Talk loving things to it. Oh, what a beautiful rib you are. You are going to be delicious and tasty. Oh, what a lovely rib. Turn him over. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay? Rub it down really, really well. Now, here's another thing I want to tell you. This is the St. Louis rib. You notice that it's got a little bit more of the meat on it than the baby back. I'll do the baby back next, and you can see that. The St. Louis rib has 13 bones. We've got these bone ends cut. Make sure you put the cure on the bone end. Okay, I'm going to show you. We're going to count these bones in just a second. Okay, make sure you cure this edge. All right, so here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 bones. That is typical for a St. Louis rib. Next, the baby backs. Do the front and the back. Make sure you get into all the flaps and all the good stuff. If you want to cut some of this off, you can, because it just burns on the grill anyway. If you like that charred stuff, go for it. There you go. Just give it a nice rub. And like I always tell my students, make sure you talk to it nice and sweet so it turns out really tasty. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now, remember I told you we were going to pre-cook these? We're going to take these, we're going to wrap them in some parchment paper and a piece of tin foil. Use your heavy-duty tin foil for this, guys. Don't use that little tissue paper, thin, flimsy tin foil. You want to get the big, heavy-duty stuff, all right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take a piece out that is at least as long as our rib. We're going to line it with a piece of parchment paper, okay? We're going to take our rib, we're going to put it in here. We're going to fold it up with the parchment. We're going to fold it up with the tin foil. Already, y'all, if you would have done this with that flimsy tin foil, it certainly would have torn by now. I'm going to grab a sheet pan, put this on there, set your oven at 350 degrees. Now this is going to roast in your oven for an hour and a half, okay? And when it comes out of the oven, then it's going to be grill ready, and I'm going to show you what that looks like, okay? So into the oven we go, 350 degrees, hour and a half. So while that's in the oven, we're going to put together a really simple and really quick barbecue sauce. So our barbecue sauce, you need a nice sauce pot. We are going to be using 1 cup of ketchup. We are going to use a 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We're going to add some cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar. And why do we want apple cider vinegar? Because it's sharp, okay? And it's got that lovely sharp element that we're looking for. Some granulated garlic, some granulated onion, a little bit of salt. That should be enough. And we're going to use a little bit of dry mustard powder. If you didn't have dry mustard powder, yes, you could use regular wet mustard, but dry mustard powder is just lovely. Wet mustard, it won't make any difference. Just drop that in, just a couple teaspoons full. We're going to take this, we're going to mix this all together. We're going to turn on the heat, and we're going to let this come to a boil. And once it boils, you just turn it down and keep it warm. We don't need to cook it any further. You're just combining it. And the reason we do this while this is in the oven is so that these flavors have an opportunity to marry, okay? So as you combine these, now I recommend you double the recipe, okay? Because me, I like a lot of sauce, all right? Here's the thing too, guys. If you don't want to do a dry rub, you don't have to do a dry rub. If you don't like tomato-based sauce and you like the vinegar-based sauce, use that. It's fine. But this is what I'm loving, and I'm making ribs, so I get to choose what kind of sauce. So once it comes to a boil, you're just going to turn it off, set it on the back burner until we are ready to slather our ribs with it on the grill. So, one thing I want to tell you about, why did we put parchment between the foil? Usually when we have a dry rub and this kind of things going on with meat, when it comes in contact with foil, there's some elements in there that will eat up the aluminum. So I want you to do an experiment so you can see what I mean. You can take a simple piece of tin foil and put a little drop of mustard on it and a little drop of ketchup on it and let it sit overnight and see what happens. You will be amazed, because what's going to happen is both that ketchup and that mustard are going to eat holes right through that aluminum foil. And when that happens, it dissolves the aluminum into your food, so when you eat, you're eating the aluminum. And that's not good for you. You don't want to do that. So this is the reason we put the parchment between the foil and the actual food, okay? So if there's an experiment, do it with your kids. Kids would love to see that. So we need some sauce for the grill. So put some little sauce in a little bowl so we can take it down to the grill. We don't want to contaminate the sauce that we're going to serve, okay? So keep it separated. So we're going to grab this and let's get those ribs out of the oven and see how they look right now. Oh, they smell great. They smell great. Put this on the edge here so I don't burn myself. Tin foil cools off relatively quickly. Woo! Oh my goodness, look, 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 look. Okay, so this rib, let me grab this so you could see it. Oh, it's all nice and steamy, is ready to go to the grill. So you're going to take this just as it is. Make sure you have a towel so you have something to put your hands on. We're going to take this down to the grill. We're going to put it on the grill. We're going to let it sit there for 20 minutes. All right, but in the meantime, 10 minutes on the grill, and then every 5 minutes after that, we're going to slather it with sauce so it gets that lovely baked, crispy, yummy, yummy, yummy sauce on there. I can't wait. Let's go. Come on. Have you ever been to the grocery store and bought yourself a wedge of cheese? Well, I'm going to show you the proper way of cutting a wedge of cheese because cheese ripens differently from the edge to the middle. I'm going to show you this beautiful hunk of Fontina cheese. Fontina cheese is a nice soft cheese. But what happens when people get a hunk of cheese like this, they usually don't know how to cut it. And I'm going to shudder when I show you this. They usually cut the tip off. Well, one of the rules for cutting cheese is never, ever, ever cut the point off your cheese. Whenever you're cutting cheese, you always want to create another point. And why is that? The point of that is the cheese ripens from the center to the edge. There's a totally different level of ripeness from the edge and to the center. And if you were to take cheese and serve someone just like this hunk from the back, all you're going to be getting is that ripeness of that hunk from the back, not that wonderful, delicate center of the cheese. This being Fontina, it's not going to show you that change so much, but what I want to show you here too is Parmesan. You can get a nice hunk of Parmesan. Typically you'll buy this stuff in the store and it's already shredded for you, but if you buy a nice big hunk, you can do some really wonderful things with it. This is a cheese plane. A cheese plane is something that will take a nice thin wedge off your cheese, but once again, you're not going to go up and down like this. You're going to take it from the center all the way to the end, because then you get the full flavor of the delicate cheese from the center and the fully ripened cheese all the way at the edge. And that's how you're going to do this. Now, when you get a big old wedge like this that's really heavy, we're going to use something called a cheese knife. A cheese knife is a knife that has two handles on it. It's really kind of weird because a regular knife just has one handle, right? So the way you would do this is you would put this down on your cheese and you would rock it back and forth, just like this. Now this Parmesan is a very hard cheese. I'm going to move it so I can get my muscles in there, like I have muscles. Back and forth just like this. And you can see, once again, we have the full flavor from the edge to the center. We have a new point on our cheese so that the next person coming along is going to have a point on their cheese too. Now, I want to show you the blue cheese. Blue cheese is really, really very unique, and that is a beautiful white creamy cheese that's made usually in a wheel, and you could see where there's holes in the top and you could see these lines in the center. This is where, when the cheese was put in a mold, it was inoculated with the blue mold, and they pulled needles in there and they pull the needles back out. You can see the needle marks in here, and they leave behind the blue mold that creates the blue cheese. Once again, when you cut this, you don't want to cut it so that you're just getting the tip. You want to cut it so you're getting everything from the edge to the center. So you can cut it like this, and I think the best way to cut this is like this, so you get top and bottom and center and edge. Look at that gorgeous blue cheese. It's perfect now to take it and crumble, put it in any recipe that you want to use. That's my tip for today on how to cut cheese. Never cut the point off your cheese. Thank you. All right. Woo! We've got our grill going now. Look at this. Here's the thing about cooking on the grill, guys. We're going to do indirect heat. So turn one side completely off. Get it going to where it's all nice and hot. Turn one side completely off. Always assume your grill is really hot, so have towels with you so you don't have to worry about burning yourself. You're going to pick your rack up and you're going to put it right on the grill. Just like that. Discard this stuff. Get rid of it. Now you're going to wait about 10 minutes. Oh boy, look at those ribs. They're fabulous. Now's the time to add our first sauce. We're going to slather it up. So remember, get your sauce, get yourself a good brush. We're going to slather this all over the rib. Load that brush up good. Slather it all over. 5 more minutes. Okay, so now we've applied our sauce. I'm done adding sauce. I'm going to put this off to the side, and oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's get our ribs off the grill. Remember, your pans are hot. Look at this. Oh boy, look at ribs, folks. Let's go give them a cut. Alrighty, so here we are back from the grill. These ribs look delicious. Well, let's go ahead and put them on the cutting board. I can show you how you cut them, all right? So we've got to take them and stick them on the cutting board. Just be a little careful about putting your tongs or whatever it is you're handling on the top, because you don't want to scrape any of that delicious sauce off. Now, I already cooked some ahead of time, and I laid them out on a platter. So as I cut these, I'm going to add to my platter. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to notice where your bones are, okay? And you're going to take your knife and you're going to cut right in between the bones. Hold it up and just cut. Yeah, actually, you can do it this way. Cut it right in between the bones, all the way down. Just get right in there. Right in between your bones. Now you're going to have to remember, sometimes your bones will curve, so just let your knife follow the natural separation of these ribs, okay? Just slice them right in half, right in the middle of the meat as the bone is going down, and if the bone curves a little bit, just let your slice curve to follow that bone, okay? You want to try to get even amount of meat on both sides of that bone. So, but unless you're cutting for yourself, you can cut the meat on your side and then give your friend the non-meaty side, but that's not very nice. Okay, so now we're going to take these juicy ribs and we are going to line them up on our platter. And oh my goodness, don't these look delish? Look at these things. They're just so good. Nice and juicy and ready for a feast. So, here we are. Stay there. Stay there. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. I'm going to put this on the end. Whoever gets that piece is going to have a fun time. You can take this sauce and you can put it up here on them if you like. Tuck it down underneath. That's some of my favorite stuff right there on the cutting board, man. I'm telling you. Ribs. Here you go, folks. Have at it. Now, what do you serve alongside of ribs? Corn on the cob. Lots of butter. Coleslaw. And potato salad. There you go. So here we've got our delicious, these are St. Louis and baby backs on that rack. Here we have our beef ribs. Now, one of the things you look at to tell if a rib is done, the meat's going to pull back from the bone about 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and that is your clue that those ribs are ready to rock and roll and ready for you to slather them with sauce and consume mass quantities. All right, there you go. Our ribs. So, thank you for watching this episode of Charlotte Cooks. Grab our recipes off of our website at pbscharlotte.org. You can email me too at Pamela, Pamela.Roberts, ROBERTS, at cpcc.edu. Love to hear from you. Contact me. Let me know if you did a rib feast or not, because oh man, I'm getting ready to dig in. So thank you very much, and we'll catch you next time on Charlotte Cooks.
Production of PBS Charlotte.